Whether you're looking to buy your very first Kreg jig or you want to upgrade because you've seen all of the new features of the new Kreg jigs, this is the video you want to watch first, because we are going to compare all of the different Kreg jigs so you can figure out which one has all the features that you're going to need to build in your shop. Now this video is sponsored by Kreg Jig. It is one of my most used tools in the shop, and I cannot wait to show you all of the different features of the different ones so you can pick the right one for you. So let's start out by just looking at the size of all the different jigs, and you can see them all laid out here in front of me. So the first one here is the 300 series. Now it comes with two different options. You have the 320, which is what I have, that comes in a handy carrying case, which I love. Or you can buy just one piece of the jig that comes apart with the drill bit and the driver bit that is called the 310. It does not come with the case. So it just depends on what's your budget of whether you go with the bigger one that has the two pocket hole jigs or the single. And then the next size up is actually a very similar jig to the first one, which is called the XL jig. Now this one's a brand new jig that is made to be able to add pocket holes to 1.5 inch thick or 3.5 inch thick material. So this one is more specialized. It is not going to be doing any 1x materials, but if you want to be doing large projects like the hammock swings that I built this spring, this is a great jig to have. The next size up here is the 520 Pro. Now the 520 only comes in the Pro version, and that is what you see here. This one is going to do your 1.5 inch to a 1/2 inch size, and it has lots of different features that we'll go over, but it's a little bit bigger. It also does not come with a carrying case. And the largest jig of all is the Kreg Jig 720 or 720 Pro. This comes in both versions. Now the only difference between the 720 and the 720 Pro is the Pro comes with the optional docking station, which we'll talk about in a little bit. The 720, you do have the option of also adding on the docking station. Next up, we're going to look at whether there are accessory storage and the mobility of each of the different jigs. So first off, with the 300 series, if you buy the 320 with the carrying case, there is storage in the case for accessories. That way you can store drill bit, driver bit, your thickness measuring guide, even some screws, and your clamp. The XL does not have accessory storage, and neither does the 520. However, the 520 does have optional storage in the docking station, and that comes with the docking station opens up, so it has two compartments that you can have storage, and that is optional add-on for the 520. The 720, as you can see here on the end, has onboard storage, and this will hold all of your accessories here. And then of course, if you go with the 720 Pro, also have the storage in the docking station. Now let's talk about mobility. Obviously the 320 is going to be your most portable option. This is meant to be clamped onto your project wood wherever it is. It's small, you can pop them apart, use one at a time, or put them back together. And because of this, this is the best option if you are going to be doing repairs on anything. And so this one is the most portable. The XL is the same. It is specialized though, because you cannot use it for anything smaller than 1.5 inch thick. Now the 520 is a great combination between portability and bench top. So this one is made to be able to clamp onto your wood wherever it may be. And you can clamp it in different directions. However, you can also attach it to a bench top to make it a bench top. And that is done with this optional clamp. You can attach it in here, and you can secure it to your tabletop, and now you have a bench top version. Also, if you add the additional docking station, it comes with a bench top option, and I'll show you that at the very end. It's really nice because this can snap right into a docking station, but then it can snap right out and move on with your project. Now for the 720 Pro, this is the least portable option. This one is meant to be a benchtop version. and it has a spot right here to use the clamp to secure it to your desktop, to your bench top. It also has a clamp here, so you can use this in multiple different arrangements. So if you're working with large sheets of plywood, you can put it in here and drill. If you're working vertically, you can put it in here and attach it to your work surface however is necessary. Now this one is slightly portable in the fact that, of course, this is fully movable around your workshop. And if you have the 720 Pro with the docking station, you can actually attach the docking station to your bench top, and this can click right out and move, and you don't have to go through the extra effort of clamping it down. Each of the jigs has to be clamped to your wood in order to get the best pocket hole jig. So let's look at what the clamping options for all of these are. For the 300 series, it comes with a clamp fingers, I don't know what you would call it, but you attach it right here and then you can secure a clamp into it. It makes it easier to move it around. Once you get the clamp installed, you don't have to reattach the clamp every single time. Maybe. So now you just position it on your wood and this freely moves and clamp. And you can use any kind of clamp. This one here is the AutoMax clamp from Kreg. This one has a single, you just have to squeeze it once and it automatically changes for the thickness of the board that you are attaching it to. But you can also use it without the face clamp from Kreg. I've also used it with just simple clamps that I have in my shop. And you can clamp that down and secure it. So the 320 will require an external clamp in order to be able to be used. Now the XL acts just like the 300 series for your larger boards. It has the same clamp device on here, so you can attach your clamp, and you will clamp it with an external clamp just like you do with the 300 series. Now the 520 has an integrated clamp, and this is their Versa grip clamp. So you'll pump it until it hits the wood and it clamps nice and tight on it. And then you push here to release. It also has a dial on the top. So if you're going to be, say, working with all 1x boards, you can clamp it first to hit your first board and then tighten this down. That way when you release it, it only releases a tiny bit. So when you put your next board in, it's only going to be 1, maybe 2 clamps to get a nice tight fit. And then when you're done, you can release it fully to go on to the next wood. For the the 720 Pro, it has the AutoMax clamp. So this one does not require any adjustment. You put your board in and press down, and it will automatically clamp down properly to any board thickness. And it is the easiest one press clamp. However, it also has the option to tighten it up so that you're putting less force, less clamping pressure if you're working with all of the same lumber. Now let's talk about the capacity of all of these jigs. Now we've already mentioned it once, the 320 is going to be able to work with the 300 series, which is the 310 and 320, will work with any boards from 1/2 inch thick to 1.5 inch thick. And that is going to be the same for all of the Kreg jigs besides the XL. They go from 1.5 inch thick to 1/2 inch thick boards. Now the XL will go from 1.5 inch to 3.5 inch, which is a 4x board. Now the capacity, while it's the same on all 3 of the main jigs here, there are a few things to note. The 300 series and the 520 have presets built in. So for the 300 series, you have these little tabs on the back, and you will move it up and down on the jig to what are the presets. It's 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, or 1.5 inch. Then when you line up your wood, it goes on that thickness stop, and that makes sure that your pocket hole is drilled at the appropriate depth. The 500 has the same presets at 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1.5 inch. And so that will adjust based off of what wood you're working with at those presets. Now, if you are working with, say, a 1-inch thick board, which is actually a true 1-inch thick, not a 1x board, which is only 3/4 inch thick, you can still use that with these other jigs. You use your thickness measuring guide, and it will tell you based off of where the wood falls on this thickness. So if it falls in between the 3/4 and the 1/2, you're actually going to be using the drill for the 3/4, and then you're going to be using a longer screw to get a pocket hole jig on that material. However, if you want to be using materials that are non-traditional, if you're milling your own lumber, the 720 is going to be probably what you want to go with. This one has no presets because the Automax clamp will automatically adjust the height of where the pocket hole's in for whatever wood you want. And all of these come with the same driving bit, except for the XL, that have pre-marked 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1.5 inch stops for your drill bit. But if you want to use the 720 Pro for any other thickness of wood, you can actually manually adjust it. So with your Allen wrench on the edge of the measuring thickness tool, you snap your drill bit in to the storage on the back of the 720, and then you can see all of these other thicknesses labeled right here. So I can move my stop up to 1 3/8. It has 1/8, 1 1/8, 1 inch, and a 5/8 inch. So you can set perfectly the drill bit, and then the Automax clamp will perfectly set your thickness. So it's got the most range of thickness measurements to work with. Now for the capacity of the XL, it also has presets. The preset is 3.5 inch and 1.5 inch. So it's made to work with 2x material and 4x material. And those presets are adjusted just the same as with the 300 series. Now one last thing to look at before we look at optional accessories is dust collection. It's always important to keep all of, well, as much dust at bay in the shop as possible. Now the only Kreg jig that comes with the built-in dust collection is the 720 and 720 Pro. Now this one comes with the dust blade that looks like this, and all you do is insert it into the jig, and then you can attach your shop vacuum, and it pulls the chips out of the pocket hole right as you drill it. And it's easy to remove when it's time to store it away. And besides doing your basic pocket holes, you may want to look at some optional accessories to really make your pocket hole system absolutely amazing. Now, the 300 series and the extra large do not have any optional accessories. Those ones are going to be great for making your standard pocket holes in your 1/2 inch to 1.5 inch or 1.5 inch to 3.5 inch material. Move those off to the side, and let's look at the 520 Pro to start. Now the 520 Pro has an optional docking station, and I'll show you what that looks like right here. So it comes with the 2 containers on the side that are great for accessory storage, and it makes it so that the bed of your pocket hole is at the same level as these little accessory cases. So when you have larger material, it doesn't teeter on the top of your pocket hole jig. And it's really easy to attach. You're going to slide this in here until it goes in. I put that off to the edge, and then snap it nice and tight, and now it's snapped in. And you can attach your docking station with some screws right here, so the docking station can be a permanent bench top, and then when you don't need it, it's not going to pop out as easy because it's not attached, but you can pop it right out here and lift it up, and you have that portability and mobility that you love about the 520. And one of the things I haven't noted about the 520 is that the handle can actually rotate full 360. So depending on where you are trying to put pocket holes as you are moving it around your shop, you can move that handle to make it more convenient for you. Now the other thing about the docking station, so I snap this back in, is it can fold up for storage. So even if you don't want this as a permanent docking station, you can fold it up and store it away when not in use. Pull it out, and then you'll use the clamp to attach it to your workbench. Drop your docking station wings down, and you're ready to start making pocket holes. And then the 720, you can purchase the 720 with just the 720. It does come with the onboard accessory storage, the Automax clamping, but if you want to get the 720 Pro, or you can purchase the optional docking station if you didn't go with the Pro version, and it has these little wings that adapt it to work with the 720. And you put those underneath here, and they'll snap right in. And then you've got your docking station. And you could permanently attach these, like I said before. Then you can pop your jig up, move it around as needed or in different orientations, and the docking station will always stay permanently attached to your bench top. Or you can use the clamp to attach it to your bench top like this, so that your docking station can move around as needed. And this one also folds up very nicely for storage, so you can store it away if you don't have room to have it permanently out. Now the docking stations do have one other feature which is really great, and that is it allows you to set stops on these little carrying wings. Now these again keeps the top of your Kreg jig at the exact height of this, so when you're working with really long material, you don't have to worry about it teetering on that. And if you need to make sure that you're setting exact pocket holes on your project, you can add this to it as a stop, and that way it always stops your wood at the same spot, and you can move it freely on any side of the docking station. And this comes with both the 720 Pro or the optional 520 Pro docking station, or you can add the docking station to your 720 if you didn't go with the Pro version from the beginning. Now the other options for your Kreg jig comes with a couple more optional accessories. Now both the 520 and 720 have an optional mini pocket hole jig. So what this does, this one goes with the 520. I haven't opened it up just yet, and this one works with the 720. And this creates smaller pocket holes. So it's really great if you're working in smaller material, like a 1/2 inch. I really like the mini because it doesn't leave as large of a hole. Or if you just need to use a smaller pocket hole to minimize the amount of material it's taken out for your pocket hole, the mini is a great option to add on, and that you can add to both of these series pocket holes. Now the last accessory that is only available for the 720 or 720 Pro is the plug cutter. Now the plug cutter is really great because what you can do is you can cut your own pocket hole plugs. Now the plug is, I've got a white one right here, is what you can put in to hide the pocket hole. So if you are going to have visible pocket holes, you want to hide those. You can fill them with wood filler, or you can add a plug to hide those. If you're staining a project, the plug is the best option. Now plugs you can buy pre-made, but they're not going to come in all of the wood species that you may be working with. So if you want to add plugs that fully match the wood species, then this is a great option, is to have this optional plug cutter, so you can attach that to your Kreg jig and make the super professional looking projects. So I hope I've answered all the questions about the different features from all the different pocket holes that Kreg jig has to offer. And if I didn't, definitely leave a comment below and I will answer those for you. But in conclusion, if you're looking for just a pocket hole jig to start out some woodworking projects, or if you're going to be doing a lot of repairs on things that you already have that just may be getting wobbly or need repairs, I would definitely go with the 300 series, either the 310 or the 320, depending on what your budget has. It's super small and compact and can fit anywhere in your shop or garage. The XL is the great pocket hole if you want to do larger projects using 4x4 wood. Dining tables would be an option, beds, and outdoor furniture, which I love to make, so the XL has been a lifesaver in that. Now, the 520 is a great entry-level jig that is going to be a little bit easier, faster to do pocket holes than with the 300 series because it's got that integrated clamping. It's just a little bit faster. You can add the docking station, which would be a great upgrade as you get further along in your woodworking journey. And the 720 Pro would definitely be the king of pocket hole jigs. I truly love this one. I use it all the time. It's got a permanent place outside and ready to go in my shop. And I love this one because I make a lot of pocket holes. I am constantly working on projects so that I can share them with you guys. So if you are going to be doing a lot of pocket holes and working on a lot more projects, I would definitely splurge and go for the 720. I would definitely go for the Pro because the optional docking station does make it super handy to have everything out there and ready to go. It also has more accessories that you can add on to it to make your woodworking just absolutely amazing. And once you've got your new Kreg jig out of the box and you're ready to start working, make sure to head over to housefulofhandmade.com where I share lots of build plans that you can make with any of these Kreg jigs. And if you like this video, make sure to hit subscribe and follow along for more DIY projects.